Hello students, I just wanted to come to you with a quick explainer video that helps to unpack the concept of dummy variables. This is a concept that students typically struggle with year after year. So I just wanted to take a quick moment to provide a bit more of an in-depth explanation in order to facilitate the learning process. So let's recap. We learned in the last lecture video that a dummy variable is a special type of dichotomous variable. Unlike binary variables, dummy variables are created by the researcher and involve the manipulation of data for the purposes of analysis. Dummy variables are coded with binary values, which include 0 and 1. So I really, in this video, want to hone in on this second point, which is the fact that dummy variables are created by the researcher and involve the manipulation of data for the purposes of analysis. So I want to do a quick demonstration toward the end of this video that helps you to really understand what this whole process of creation and manipulation looks like. But before I get into that, I just want to provide a quick explanation of why dummy variables are important, or what the purpose of them are, or the reason why we have to create them. And so this requires touching briefly on multiple regression analysis, which is a type of statistical test that we will not get into in this course because it's beyond the scope of this course. However, in order to understand this concept, I will touch on it just a bit. So as you will learn about over the course of this semester, really all statistical tests have rules associated with them. And multiple regression analysis is one example of this. One of the key rules of this test is that all categorical variables that are included in the analysis must be dummy variables. And so sometimes this requires the manipulation of the data after it has already been collected. So here's an example from the last lecture video that I provided. So I talked a little bit about parental relationship status. And I mentioned the fact that I asked respondents in my survey the following question: what is the status of your relationship with your child's mother? And the original answer choices included married, widowed, and divorced. However, as I just mentioned, multiple regression requires that all categorical variables be dummy variables. So this required the manipulation of this variable. So the variable manipulation process involved two key steps. Step one was placing all of those who reported being married into one category, and step two involved placing all of those who reported being divorced or widowed into another category. So now I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of the creation of dummy variables using SPSS. SPSS stands for the Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. And I will provide you with a bit of exposure to this program throughout the course of this semester. However, the key data analysis tool that we'll be using for this course is Excel. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here is our data set in SPSS. So here's the variable parental relationship status. And so if I click on this variable view here, you'll see this is where we set up our data set. So here's the variable. And if I click here on this little blue button, you'll see where I coded the variable with married, widowed, and divorced. And this is where code books come in handy. It helps us to remember how we've coded our variables. So let's go back to data view. So from here, I'm going to click on transform, recode into a different variable. And I'm going to go ahead and move our variable over into this box. And I'm going to name it because I'm essentially creating a brand new variable. So I'm going to name it PRS_recoded. And this is the key part here to the manipulation process. So we're going to click on this button here that says old and new values. And remember that we coded everyone who reported being married as 1. So I'm going to keep that code because I want everyone who reported being married to stay in that same category. So I'm going to make my old value 1 and my new value 1, and I'm going to click add. However, I'm going to shift everyone who reported being divorced into the category of 0, and I'm going to shift everyone who reported being widowed into the same category. Okay, so my old value is 3, my new value is 0. So as you can see, everyone who reported being married stayed in the same category, and now we have this new category for those who were widowed or divorced. We're placing them into one category together. And we're going to click continue and OK. So now we see our brand new variable here that we've created. Okay, so as you can see, everyone has been placed in either one category or the other. Now, a best practice that we really should do is we really need to go back here and make sure that we code our new variable. So we want to make sure that we tell SPSS that we want everyone who was coded as 1, we want to label this as married. And then everyone who was coded coded as 0, we want them to be in this category that we're now calling not married. And we're going to click add and then OK. Okay, so let's go back to our data view. And if we just want to check everything just to be sure that everything is accurate and correct, we can run what we call a frequency table. And you'll learn about frequency tables in the next module. So let's go ahead and go to Analyze Descriptive Statistics and then Frequencies. And so we're going to go ahead and move this over here as well because we want to run frequency tables on both of our variables just to compare. Okay, so we're going to click on OK. Okay, and as you can see here, we now have our frequency tables, so we can compare them. This was our original variable here that had the 3 categories: married, widowed, and divorced. And remember, we kept everybody married in the same category. So as you can see here, this category did not change. Okay, so let's still have 11 cases in this category. And so we now see that after combining the categories of widowed and divorced, which included a total of 19 cases, we see those same 19 cases down here under this new category of not married. So we have essentially created and manipulated our data in order to create a dummy variable. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class.